very rich person, right? So, when he had to give something to a person, he won't give that completely to that person. Let's say, he had to give potato chips to somebody. What would you do? You would just put your hands in that potato chips packet, take some potato chips, or at least you would take one chip and give to the other person, right? What this person would do is, he will take one chip, the potato chip, he will break it into two, he will give it to one person, the other bit he will give it to another person. So the act of, not giving some, Vakra grahas are not associated with completeness. They are associated with what? Peeling off something, breaking off something, which means when somebody is going for biopsy, what do you do in a biopsy? You take, you remove, you peel a portion and you give it for testing. So Vakra grahas are always associated with biopsy, which means whenever a Vakra graha is associated in the horoscope, whatever it indicates, now if the second bhava is Vakra, the money will come to you. Will it come to you fully? If the 11th bhava is Vakra, you can do your business. Will you get your profits fully? It will come bit by bit. It will come share by share. You won't get lump sum money. You won't get lump sum profits. This is an important rule. So it won't give completely. It will give little, right? Why? Because it has the act of healing itself. Somebody will be having 30, 40 acres of land. Let's say somebody is having some 10 cents of land. You won't ask 10 cents. In that 10 cents, you will want to break and give 1 or 2 cents. Or let's say somebody is having 10 cents. He won't sell that completely. He will break that in pieces and sell it. Or he will break it into portions and sell it. Why? Because Vakra grahas won't allow you to do something completely. Next important point. These are profound, simple concepts which nobody will teach you. At least nobody would teach you the way I'm teaching you. Right? But the only thing is, it's not about me teaching you. It is about you writing and practicing. Because if you don't practice means one member in your family you practice, because you would know your members in your family, and the way you learn is only through association. See, if you look at TITHI SHOONYA, I think at least a minimum of 200 to 250 pages you should have written. So every month you're writing 250 pages. So what would happen in a matter of years? It would go into thousands and thousands of pages. So thousands and thousands, you're not a robot to remember everything. The easiest and the only sure shot way to remember is to associate something. If you associate something with your mother, father, wife, child, daughter-in-law, you won't forget anything at all, because when you see a horoscope, immediately you will think of your mother-in-law. When you see another horoscope, you will think about your father-in-law. Another horoscope, you will think about your son-in-law. This is the way it should be. Right? Next. When a Lagna is associated with a Vakra graha, when the Lagna means, again, remember, we are also referring to the Lagna Lord also. The person will go missing and will come back. Any person. Now this rule, this beautiful rule, you can apply to each and every person who has a Rahu Ketu. Each and every person who has a Rahu Ketu. Ask them, in childhood, did you go missing? Or they will travel to some foreign country, they will come back. So this whole concept of, a person who is missing and coming back is applied to what? When Lagna is associated with Vakra grahas. Why Rahu Ketu? Rahu Ketu are naturally retrograde grahas. Right? Likewise, when Rahu Ketu are associated with Lagna, then what would happen? The person would go somewhere and he would return back. Sir, my husband has gone somewhere, he has left me, will he come back? See the horoscope. Is the Lagna associated with the Vakra graha? Yes, he will definitely come back. Sir, my wife has left me, will she come back? Look at the horoscope. Not your horoscope, your wife's horoscope. Lagna associated with Vakra graha. Don't, one word, you are finishing everything. You're not scratching your head. Lagna is associated with a Vakra Graha. Yes, she will come back. So, if the seventh Bhava Lord or if the seventh Bhava is associated with a Vakra Graha or Shukra is getting into a Vakra, then what does it mean? You will see a girl. Means with a family you will go, you will see a girl. You will initiate the talks. Either in your side you would hesitate, or on the girl side they would hesitate, or they would say, you know what, we will call you after 10 days, we will call you after 1 month, they won't call you. Right? And then they would come to you. Who? The astrologer. So we have gone to so many alliances. No alliance is working out. When will my son get married? Immediately you see the horoscope. If it is a boy, Shukra. For girl and boy, seventh Bhava. When the seventh Bhava Lord is getting into a Vakra, or if Shukra is getting into a Vakra Gathi, right? First you write the rule like this. Then when seventh Bhava Lord is associated, that you can go. But first you write the rule plain and simple as it is. When seventh Bhava Lord is getting into a Vakra, or if Shukra is getting into a Vakra Gathi, the alliance, which means the girl who you see once, right? You will go back to that girl, or that girl will come back to you, and you will get married to that person. So what if it is a girl's horoscope? How do you check? You would see the seventh Bhava and you would see Mars. By the way, it also means when the seventh Bhava is associated with Vakra Graha, which means, let's say you have a seventh Bhava, and in that seventh Bhava you have a Guru who's getting into a Vakra Gathi. Immediately, you know what? Let's say you're a girl. The boy would have come with the family. Your father would have seen that family. Your father and mother would have seen the boy. They would have rejected the boy, or they would have told, we will call after 1 month. You wouldn't have called after 1 month. Then after 1 month, this boy's side, they would have gone on pestering you. And finally you would come, okay, fine. We are also not getting the kind of alliances that we want, and you would say, okay. There'll be so many girls like this.
Sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I can see in Horary chart or birth chart?
Birth chart, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
If you don't have the birth chart, try it with the Horary chart. Right?
Okay, sir.
Okay. So when it comes to a female horoscope, you have the seventh Bhava Lord and you have Mars. Right? This will happen in so many cases, which means the golden rule that you need to use is when you have a horoscope where somebody is coming to you with a seventh Bhava getting into a Vakra Gathi, or boy's horoscope Shukra, girl's horoscope Mars, or a Vakra Graha associated with 7, just tell you will get married to the person who you've already seen. You don't have to go, you don't have to search here and there. Already you would have seen this person. You will get married to this person who you've already seen. It would be correct. It would be exact. It would be accurate. Right? Which means when the 7th Bhava associated with Vakra Graha, 7th Bhava getting into a Vakra, Shukra getting into a Vakra for a Stree, Shukra getting into a Vakra for a male, Mars getting into a Vakra for a Stree, right? Which means whatever came, that would return back to you. Now, another question that you will have is, sir, if it is one person, it is okay. For the last 5 years, I've been looking out, my parents have been looking out for alliances. So are you trying to tell me tomorrow morning when I open my front door, all the 55 girls who my parents saw, all of them are going to come and stand? No. See, you need to use your discretion. See, one amongst them, you would know that, you know what, I think this girl would come back. We spoke to them, my father, mother, they spoke for almost 1 month. I think this girl is okay, but like that, one of the alliance would come. It does not mean early morning you open the door and all the alliances that you saw on Bharat Matrimony, they are going to come right in front of your doorstep. No, that is not the way it works. One of them. So you should use your discretion. Right? And this you would find in many, many, many horoscopes, which means if you see a Vakra Graha associated in your horoscope, your family member's horoscope, ask them how their marriage happened. We went, we saw them. We told we will go tomorrow, day after, we didn't respond. Then after that, somehow we accepted and you went, right? That is how it will. See, here you also need to understand this important point. When I'm talking about Vakra, I'm giving you some simple rules in order to understand the concept. But Vakra also functions as far as degree is concerned. But we are not getting into the degree portion because anyways, at least as far as Vakra Grahas are concerned, you can definitely rely on the horoscope. Next. When Shani gets into a Vakra Gathi, you will repeat the same job, profession, or business that you did. So if you see a horoscope, Shani is getting into a Vakra Gati, he's saying, I did this business, that business. You will only do the business that you already did. Or you will go back to the company where you already worked. Which means, I was working in a company for a few years. I left that company. Now I'm again working in that company. Shani also indicates people who report to you, your workers. So, people who already worked for you, like 2 years before, somebody interrupted as a question. 2 years before, somebody was working under me. He left the job 1 year before. After lockdown, he has come back. So, all of that, the labor also would come and return to you. Some person would come and tell you, sir, 10 years before, I had a cloth shop, I had a textile shop. It went well. Then it went on a loss. I left it. Now, again, I want to start this business. Should I do it? Yes. Shani Vakra. Which means the job, the business, the profession that you already did, you will go about and do that or repeat again. See, some people say if Shani gets into a Vakra Gati, they do many businesses. No, that is not true. When Shani gets into a Vakra Gati and when Shani is associated with Rahu, associated with Mercury, why? Because Mercury is considered to be a jack of all trades. He can just mingle anywhere. He can mingle here also, there also. So when Shani is associated with Rahu, Mercury, that is when, it leads to multiplicity of business. But Shani getting into a Vakra Gati, it means repetition. Another category of people who don't stick into one job for a very long time. You see in a horoscope where a Lagna is getting into a Bala. I'm not talking about, Lagna, not Bala, but Lagna getting into a Bala, strength. Somewhere or the other, they won't stick into one job. They will do this job for some time. They will do this business for some time. They will not be in one place. Why? Because the search for them will be never ending. Somewhere I should reach one position. Right. Next. When the 8th Bhavadipati, 8th Bhava Lord, is getting into a Vakra. For people in the northern part of India, right, Vakri. Because tomorrow when you're teaching your students, you should teach from your regional standpoint of view. Or retrograde. Or if Mars is getting into a Vakram, Vakri. Right. Either of them, okay? It could either be the 8th Bhava Lord or it could be Mars. You will have litigation 2 times. Always remember, repetition. You will have a court case 2 times. Accident 2 times. Surgery in that same place you will have 2 times. Wherever you had a surgery, in that same place you would have surgery again. Again, when the 8th Bhava Lord is getting into a Vakra Gati or Mars getting into a Vakra Gati, when you are reversing your vehicle, you can reverse a car. You can also reverse a bike, by the way, right? Because you will park your bike somewhere and you would push it backwards, right? That is also reverse. Or you would be stationary when there is a traffic signal, and sometimes you would tend to move backwards. That is also reverse. So when you're reversing the vehicle, right, there will be an accident. So when the Ashtamadipati is getting into a Vakra, which means the 8th Bhava Lord is getting into a Vakra, Mars is getting into a Vakra, or Mars is getting into a Vakra while reversing the vehicle, or when you go for an event and come back from an event, not when you go for an event, when you come back for an event, you should be careful. Not when you go for an event, when you come back from an event. That is when an accident will happen. Some people would say, I was reversing my vehicle, an accident happened. Right? I went to a function. While returning back from the function, there was an accident. I went to the temple. While returning back from the temple, there was an accident. Reversing the vehicle, there was an accident. While returning, it will always be returning. And see, Mars is a Mangala Graha, which means